I pulled into my in-laws' driveway 2 hours earlier than expected on Christmas Eve, and what I heard through that kitchen window destroyed 11 years of marriage in less than 60 seconds. My name is Alex Thompson, and this is the story of how my wife's Christmas confession turned into the most savage revenge I never saw coming. The snow was falling heavy that December evening, making the drive from my office to the Lawson family home slower than usual. I'd finished my quarterly reports early, something my boss hadn't expected when he'd given me the deadline extension. 3 hours of freedom before the annual Lawson Christmas party. 3 hours I decided to spend surprising my wife Sarah instead of sitting in holiday traffic. The Lawson house looked like something out of a Christmas movie. White lights wrapped around every column, wreaths on every window, and that massive Douglas fir visible through the bay window that Sarah's mother, Margaret, insisted on decorating the day after Thanksgiving every single year. I could hear music and laughter from inside as I parked on the street, leaving the driveway clear for other guests who'd be arriving soon. I grabbed the wine I'd picked up, expensive stuff that Margaret would pretend to appreciate while secretly wishing I'd brought the cheap brand she actually preferred, and headed toward the front door. That's when I heard Sarah's voice coming from the open kitchen window, loud and clear over the Christmas music. "I'm 3 weeks pregnant with my boss's baby. Michael's about to be a father and he doesn't even know it yet." I froze on the walkway, snow collecting on my shoulders, that bottle of wine suddenly weighing 1,000 pounds in my hands. Margaret's voice responded, delighted and conspiratorial. "Oh, honey, that's wonderful news. Michael's such a good man, so successful, much better than Alex ever was." "Mom, you have no idea," Sarah laughed. The kind of laugh I used to love hearing, but now sounded like nails on a chalkboard. "Michael makes more in bonuses than Alex makes in a year, and he actually has ambition. You know, he's going places. Alex been stuck at the same company for 8 years, doing the same boring finance work." "I never understood what you saw in Alex anyway," Margaret continued. "Such a plain man, no real prospects. But Michael, now he's the kind of son-in-law I always wanted." My hands were shaking, not from the cold, but from the pure rage building in my chest. 11 years. We'd been married for 11 years, together for 13, and she was standing in her mother's kitchen on Christmas Eve, casually discussing her affair and pregnancy like she was talking about the weather. "When are you going to tell Alex?" Margaret asked. "After the holidays," Sarah said. "I'll file for divorce in January. Michael and I have it all planned out. I'll take the house, obviously. Alex won't fight me on it. He never fights for anything." I backed away from that window slowly, quietly, like I was retreating from a crime scene, which I guess I was in a way. The crime of my marriage, the murder of everything I thought was real. I got back in my car, set that expensive wine on the passenger seat, and just sat there for a moment. The snow kept falling, the Christmas lights kept twinkling. Inside that house, my wife and mother-in-law kept planning my destruction while probably sampling Margaret's famous eggnog. I didn't cry, didn't scream, didn't punch the steering wheel like they do in movies. Instead, I started my car, pulled out my phone, and made 3 calls that would change everything. The first call was to my lawyer, James Harlan. We'd gone to college together, and he owed me a favor from when I'd helped him restructure his practice's finances 5 years ago. "Alex, Merry Christmas," James answered, sounding relaxed and slightly buzzed. "What's up?" "I need you to file divorce papers immediately," I said, my voice surprisingly steady. "My wife's pregnant with another man's child, and I just overheard her planning to divorce me in January." The relaxed tone vanished. "Jesus, Alex, I'm sorry. When did you find out?" "About 5 minutes ago. Can you file before the holiday break ends?" "Courts are closed until the 27th, but I can have everything ready to file first thing that morning.
You're sure about this? More sure than I've ever been about anything. Before you hear what happened next, if you're finding this story valuable, please hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below about a time when you discovered something that completely changed your perspective. And don't forget to like this video. Your support helps me share more stories like this one. Now, back to the moment my life split in two. The second call was to my older brother, Brandon. He was a private investigator who specialized in corporate fraud, but he'd branched into domestic cases over the years. If anyone could gather evidence quickly and quietly, it was him. "Bran, I need your help," I said when he answered. "Sarah's having an affair with her boss. She's pregnant. I need documentation of everything." "Damn, little brother. How long has this been going on?" "No idea, but she's 3 weeks pregnant, so at least that long. Probably longer." "Give me the boss's name and company. I'll have a full workup by tomorrow afternoon." "His name is Michael Reynolds. He's VP of Operations at Quantum Enterprises." Brandon whistled. "Michael Reynolds? Alex, I know that name. Let me make some calls. This might be bigger than just an affair." The third call was to Sarah. I needed to play this perfectly. She answered on the second ring, her voice bright and fake cheerful. "Hey babe, where are you? The party's starting soon." "Still stuck at the office," I lied smoothly. "Peterson needed help with the final quarterly numbers. I'll probably be another 2 hours. You go ahead and enjoy the party without me." "Oh, that's too bad." She didn't sound disappointed at all. "Mom's making her famous prime rib." "Save me a plate," I said, then hung up before she could respond. I drove to Brandon's house instead of home. He lived 40 minutes away in a downtown loft that looked like something from a spy movie, all exposed brick and high-tech computer equipment. When I arrived, he already had 3 monitors going, pulling up information about Michael Reynolds. "Your wife's boss is a piece of work," Brandon said, gesturing at the screens. "Married for 15 years to a woman named Olivia, 2 kids in private school, member of 3 country clubs, and here's the interesting part. He's been investigated twice by HR for inappropriate relationships with subordinates." I leaned closer to the monitor. "What happened with those investigations?" "Both were quietly settled. The company paid the women to go away. Standard corporate cover-up. But Alex, there's more. Reynolds been embezzling from Quantum Enterprises for at least 3 years. I have a contact in their accounting department who's been documenting irregularities." "How much are we talking?" "Conservative estimate? About $2 million. I sat down hard in Brandon's desk chair. My wife wasn't just having an affair with her boss, she was having an affair with a criminal. "Can you prove it?" I asked. Brandon smiled. The kind of smile that meant he was about to do something completely legal, but deliciously devastating. "Give me 48 hours. I'll have enough evidence to bury this guy so deep he'll need a shovel to find daylight." I spent Christmas Day at Brandon's loft while Sarah sent me increasingly annoyed text messages about missing the party. I responded with vague excuses about work emergencies and promised to make it up to her. She stopped texting around midnight. Brandon worked through the night, calling in favors from contacts across the city. By noon on Christmas Day, he had a file folder 3 inches thick with documentation of Michael Reynolds' crimes. Bank statements showing unexplained deposits, internal memos that had been deleted but recovered, email chains discussing the HR settlements, and photographs, lots of photographs of Michael and Sarah together at hotels.
Restaurants, even at company events where they thought nobody was watching. "Your wife's been his mistress for 8 months, Brandon said, sliding the folder across his desk to me. "She wasn't the first. Won't be the last. This guy has a pattern." "What about the pregnancy?" I asked. According to her medical records, which I may have accessed through completely legal channels involving a friend at her doctor's office who owed me a favor, she's definitely pregnant. The timeline matches up with when Reynolds' wife was visiting her sister in Boston for 2 weeks in November. I opened the folder and started reading. Every page was another knife in my back. Hotel receipts where Sarah had signed in as Mrs. Reynolds.
text messages where she called Michael Daddy and talked about their future together, financial documents showing Michael had been moving money into an offshore account, probably planning to run when the embezzlement got discovered. "What's the play?" Brandon asked. I looked up at my brother. "We destroy them both, completely, legally, but thoroughly." Brandon grinned. "That's my little brother. So, what's the plan?" Over the next 2 hours, we mapped out exactly how this would unfold. Step by step, piece by piece, we built a strategy that would expose Sarah and Michael while protecting me from any fallout. Step 1 was contacting Michael's wife, Olivia. Brandon had her contact information, and after some debate, I decided I needed to tell her personally. She deserved to know what her husband was doing. I called her that evening. When she answered, I could hear children laughing in the background, probably playing with their Christmas presents. "Mrs. Reynolds, my name is Alex Thompson. I'm married to one of your husband's employees, Sarah Thompson. We need to talk about Michael." The children's laughter stopped abruptly. Olivia must have moved to another room because suddenly everything was quiet. "What about Michael?" she asked, her voice carefully neutral. "He's been having an affair with my wife. She's pregnant with his child, and there's evidence he's been embezzling from the company." Silence stretched for so long I thought she'd hung up. Finally, Olivia spoke, and her voice was still wrapped in ice. "How long have you known?" "I found out yesterday, Christmas Eve. I overheard Sarah telling her mother about the pregnancy." "Can you prove any of this?" "All of it. I have documentation, photographs, financial records, everything you'd need for divorce proceedings and criminal charges." Olivia laughed, but there was no humor in it. "Mr. Thompson, I've suspected Michael of cheating for years, but the embezzling, that's news. Can you send me copies of everything?" "I can do better than that. I can arrange for you to meet with my brother, who's a private investigator. He can walk you through all the evidence and help you coordinate with law enforcement." "I'd like that very much," Olivia said. "And Mr. Thompson, thank you for calling me. Most men probably wouldn't care," I replied, "but my wife destroyed my life. I figure the least I can do is make sure Michael pays for destroying yours." We talked for another 30 minutes, coordinating our approach. Olivia was smarter than I'd expected, already thinking 3 steps ahead about asset protection and custody arrangements. By the time we hung up, I actually felt sorry for Michael Reynolds. He was about to get hit by a legal tsunami that he never saw coming. Step 2 was filing the divorce papers. James had them ready first thing on December 27th, and I had them served to Sarah at work at Quantum Enterprises during a department meeting with Michael Reynolds sitting right next to her. Brandon had a contact at the company who described the scene to us later that evening. The process server walked into the conference room, called Sarah's name, and handed her the envelope in front of 15 colleagues and her boss/lover. Sarah had apparently gone white as a sheet, then looked at Michael with pure panic in her eyes.
Michael had tried to play it cool, suggesting they take a break so Sarah could handle her personal matter privately, but the damage was done. Everyone in that room knew exactly what those papers meant, and office gossip spreads faster than wildfire. Step 3 was the most satisfying. While Sarah was being served with divorce papers, the FBI was serving Michael Reynolds with a warrant for his arrest. Turns out Brandon's contact in accounting had been cooperating with a federal investigation into corporate fraud, and Michael's embezzlement was just one piece of a larger case. They arrested him in the parking lot as he was leaving work. Sarah watched from the 3rd-floor window of the building, still holding her divorce papers, as federal agents put her lover in handcuffs and read him his rights. Brandon sent me a photo that someone had taken. Sarah standing at the window, her face pressed against the glass, mascara running down her cheeks. It was the last time I saw her cry. Step 4 involved Margaret Lawson, my former mother-in-law, who'd been so delighted about Sarah's pregnancy and so dismissive of my prospects. I'd saved a special piece of revenge just for her. Margaret was a prominent member of her church, the kind of woman who organized charity events and sat on various community boards. Her reputation was everything to her, So I made sure that her priest, her book club, and every single member of those boards received anonymous packages containing transcripts of that Christmas Eve conversation I'd recorded through the kitchen window. The transcripts included Margaret's enthusiastic support of her daughter's affair, her mocking comments about me, and her complete lack of moral objection to adultery and deception. Within 48 hours, Margaret had been asked to resign from 2 boards, and her priest had scheduled a pastoral counseling session that everyone knew was church speak for "you're in deep trouble." Sarah called me exactly once after being served the divorce papers. I let it go to voicemail. "Alex, please, we need to talk. This is insane. You're destroying my life over a misunderstanding. Call me back, please." I deleted the message without responding. She tried texting. I blocked her number. She showed up at my apartment. I'd already moved out of our house and into a temporary rental across town. When I saw her through the security camera at the front door, I called the police and reported a trespasser. They escorted her off the property with a warning about harassment. 3 weeks later, I sat in James's office reviewing the divorce settlement. Sarah's lawyer had tried to fight for the house, for alimony, for a portion of my retirement accounts. James had shut down every single attempt. "The adultery clause in your prenup is ironclad," James explained, sliding papers across his desk. "She gets nothing, except her personal belongings and whatever's in her individual bank account. The house stays with you. No alimony, no claims on your retirement." She walked away from this marriage with exactly what she brought into it, which was basically nothing. "What about the pregnancy?" I asked. "Not your problem. Paternity is clearly established as Michael Reynolds' responsibility. He's facing 20 years in federal prison for embezzlement, so good luck collecting child support. But that's Sarah's issue, not yours." I signed the papers without hesitation. 11 years of marriage ended with a pen stroke. 4 weeks after Christmas, Olivia Reynolds filed for divorce from Michael. She'd taken my advice and coordinated with Brandon to document everything. Michael's assets were frozen pending the criminal trial. His reputation was destroyed, and Olivia got full custody of their children, with Michael getting supervised visitation only if he wasn't in prison. Sarah lost her job at Quantum Enterprises. The company decided that keeping her employed after the scandal would be bad for morale. She tried to find work at other firms, but word had spread through the industry.
Nobody wanted to hire the woman who'd gotten pregnant by her embezzling boss. Margaret Lawson lost her position on the church council after the transcripts went public. Her husband, Sarah's father, Robert, filed for separation 6 weeks later. Turns out he'd had no idea about Margaret's encouragement of the affair, and he considered it a betrayal of their marriage vows as well. The house of cards had collapsed, and everyone involved was buried in the rubble. 5 months after that Christmas Eve, I was sitting in a coffee shop downtown when someone tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around and found myself looking at Olivia Reynolds. "Mr. Thompson," she said, smiling genuinely, "I hoped I'd run into you eventually. Can I buy you a coffee?" We sat at a corner table, and Olivia told me about her new life. She'd taken Michael for everything in the divorce, using the embezzlement charges as leverage. She had the house, the cars, full custody, and enough assets to live comfortably while raising her children alone. "I wanted to thank you," Olivia said. "If you hadn't called me that Christmas Day, I might still be living a lie. Michael would still be stealing from his company and cheating on me, and I'd still be the stupid wife who didn't know any better." "You were never stupid," I said. "You were trusting. There's a difference." "Maybe, but I'm not trusting anymore," she smiled. "Now I'm careful. Now I verify everything, and now I'm free." We talked for another hour, swapping stories about our respective divorces and the aftermath. Olivia was funny, intelligent, and refreshingly honest about her mistakes and lessons learned. When we finally parted ways, she gave me her number. "If you ever want to grab coffee again," she said, "just as friends who survived the same disaster, I think we'd have a lot to talk about." I took the number, but I wasn't ready. Not yet. Maybe someday. 6 months after Christmas, Sarah had her baby,
a boy. She posted about it on social media, carefully curated photos that made single motherhood look romantic and empowering. The reality, according to Brandon's sources, was that she was living in a small apartment, working retail, and struggling to pay bills while Michael sat in federal prison awaiting trial. Margaret tried to reach out through Robert, asking if I'd considered dropping the harassment charges I'd filed when Sarah showed up at my apartment. I had James send a formal response, declining the request. 8 months after Christmas, my divorce was finalized. I celebrated by taking Brandon out for an expensive dinner at the restaurant where Sarah and I had gotten engaged 11 years earlier. The irony wasn't lost on either of us. "You handled this perfectly," Brandon said, raising his glass. "Most guys would have confronted Sarah immediately, maybe gotten violent. Definitely would have made mistakes that could be used against them later. But you stayed calm, gathered evidence, and destroyed them systematically." "I learned from the best," I replied, clinking my glass against his. "You taught me that revenge is best served cold and legal." "Damn right," Brandon grinned. "So, what's next for you?" I thought about that question. What was next? I had my house, my job, my freedom. Sarah was struggling. Michael was in prison. Margaret had lost her social standing. Everyone who'd participated in betraying me had paid a price. "Next," I said finally, "I start living again. For real this time. Not for someone else's expectations or someone else's dreams, just for me." 10 months after Christmas, I ran into Sarah at a grocery store. She was pushing a stroller with one hand and juggling a shopping basket with the other. She looked tired, older than her 34 years, nothing like the confident woman who'd laughed about my lack of prospects in her mother's kitchen. She saw me before I could turn away. "Alex." "Sarah?" I nodded politely, already moving past her toward the checkout. "Wait," she said. "Please, can we talk just for a minute?" Against my better judgment, I stopped.
"What do you want, Sarah?" I wanted to say I'm sorry for everything, for the affair, for the lies, for what I said about you. I was wrong about all of it. I looked at her, really looked at her, and felt absolutely nothing. No anger, no hurt, not even satisfaction at seeing how far she'd fallen. "Okay," I said simply. "Okay, that's it." "What else do you want me to say, Sarah? You made your choices, you're living with the consequences. I'm living with mine. We're done." "But don't you want to know about the baby? Don't you want to see him?" "No," I said firmly. "He's not my son. He's Michael Reynolds' son, and that's your problem, not mine." I walked away and didn't look back. Behind me, I could hear Sarah starting to cry, but I kept walking. That chapter of my life was closed. Time to start writing a new one. 1 year after Christmas, I got a call from Olivia Reynolds. We'd stayed in touch, meeting for coffee once a month to talk about life after disaster. She'd become a genuine friend, someone who understood what I'd been through because she'd been through it herself. "Alex, I have news," she said when I answered. "Michael's trial ended yesterday. He got 18 years in federal prison." "Good," I replied. "He deserved more, but 18 is better than nothing." "There's something else," Olivia continued. "The judge ordered him to pay restitution to the company and to all the women he'd harassed over the years. He's financially ruined. When he gets out of prison, he'll have nothing. How do you feel about that?" I asked. "Relieved," she said honestly. "My children and I can finally move on without worrying about him interfering in our lives. He can't hurt us anymore." "Then I'm happy for you, Olivia. You deserve peace." "So do you," she said, "which is why I'm calling. My company is having a charity gala next month. I know these events aren't really your thing, but I was wondering if you'd consider being my +1, just as friends. I promise I won't make it weird." I laughed. "You know what? I'd like that. Send me the details." The gala was elegant and surprisingly enjoyable. Olivia was right. These events weren't usually my thing, but with her as company, the evening flew by. We danced, we laughed, and for the first time in a year,
I felt like maybe I could trust someone again. As we stood on the balcony looking out at the city lights, Olivia turned to me and said, "Thank you for calling me that Christmas day. You saved my life, Alex. You really did." "You saved mine too," I replied. "You showed me that not everyone is like Sarah and Michael. Some people are worth trusting." "Are you ready?" she asked. "To trust again, I mean?" I thought about that question. Was I ready? Could I risk opening my heart after Sarah had shattered it so completely? "I don't know," I admitted, "but maybe with the right person, someone who's been through the fire and came out stronger instead of bitter." Olivia smiled. "Someone like me?" "Someone exactly like you." We stood there for a moment, and I realized that Christmas Eve, when I'd heard Sarah's confession, my life hadn't ended. It had just been redirected towards something better, something real, something worth building. 2 years after Christmas, Olivia and I got married in a small ceremony with just our close friends and family. Brandon was my best man. Olivia's children were our flower girl and ring bearer. It was simple, honest, and absolutely perfect. Sarah sent a Facebook message asking to meet up and talk. I deleted it without responding. Margaret sent a card congratulating us, probably hoping to repair her relationship with her former son-in-law. I threw it away without opening it. Michael Reynolds was still in prison and would be for another 16 years. And me? I was finally genuinely happy. Not the fake happiness I'd convinced myself I had with Sarah, but real contentment built on trust, honesty, and a partner who'd proven she could weather any storm. The best revenge, it turns out, isn't destroying the people who hurt you. It's building something so good with someone so right that the past becomes irrelevant. Sarah and Margaret and Michael, they'd all paid their prices. They'd all faced their consequences. But I'd moved on to something better. And that, more than anything else, was my victory. If you found value in this story, please hit that like button and leave a comment below sharing your thoughts about betrayal and recovery. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more true stories about ordinary people overcoming extraordinary challenges. Because everyone has a moment when life splits in two. The question is, what do you build with the pieces?